The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. Amazon Prime. One-day delivery on millions of items with Prime. And by Microsoft Surface.
So for those of you who are watching the Patriots comfortably ahead of Miami 30-0, we're going to take you to a more competitive ball game at MetLife. It's Buffalo looking for its second consecutive win over the other New York team that is now. They're up 21-14, 8:31 left in regulation. Let's join Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. So Detroit comes away with the win, first of the season. With that win over the Chargers, we take you now to Jacksonville at Houston. 1-point game with 30 seconds left in regulation. Houston up by 1. Let's join the announcers there. Andrew Catalan and James Lofton.
Yes, the quarterback is the second, and his sister, better of Marone, 13-12. Texans win for James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalan. So long from Houston. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
All right, so Houston, along with the 4 sacks, had that goal line stop there, the 2-point attempted conversion. They win it by 1. We take you now, Indy at Tennessee. 24 seconds left in regulation. Indy up by 2. Let's join Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta.
If you spike it, it's 4th down.
So Jacoby Brissett and
Tennessee falls to 1-1. For Adam Archuleta, our producer Jason Ross, Jim Cornell, our director Spiro Dedes saying so long from Nashville.
So Jacoby Brissett, an efficient performance there, along with 3 touchdowns, helped to coach the victory over the Tennessee Titans. We take you now to MetLife. Buffalo looking for its second victory over a New York team. Up by 14, 3:26 left in regulation. Let's join the announcers.
You guys are talking about
Rosen, rush coming, ball is intercepted. And it's over. Collins has got it for New England. Back-to-back blowouts for the Miami Dolphins. New England dominates in South Florida. Let's go to New York and JB.
All right, Ian, as we take you now to MetLife, where Buffalo, as Bill Cowher says, solid D, a young quarterback who's growing in maturity. They're up by 14 over the Giants with 27 seconds left in regulation. Let's join the announcers, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins.
in the AFC East.
CBS Sports presents the Geico Play of the Day.
Dak Prescott performs a little handiwork for the Cowboys, then connects with Devin Smith downfield. Smith outpaces Josh Norman for not only his first touchdown since 2015, but the longest reception of his career, 51 yards. That brings smiles to the fans of America's team enjoying the game in America's capital.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This is the State Farm Post-Game Show.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the State Farm Post-Game Show. And a reminder, Bill Cowher, coming up next, PBR, will the Bulls buck every challenge, or will the Riders reign supreme? It's going to be a wild time filled at the PFI Western.com Invitational, Nate. 15-15 bucking battle. That's coming your way right here on CBS next. Back here inside of Studio 43. I'm James Brown, along with my guys, Coach Nate Boomer and Phil, and we go to Boomer.
All right, guys, largest shutout loss in Miami history. They drilled today. There's Antonio Brown for the Patriots. He caught 4 balls for 56 yards, all in the first half, including this 20-yard touchdown strike from Tom Brady. Brady was 20 of 28, 264, 2 touchdowns. I bet you he would tell you he could play better than he did, believe it or not. But Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen combined for 4 interceptions. 2 of those interceptions were returned for touchdowns. Right there, that's Stephon Gilmore. This was a 43-0 beatdown. And Coach, I don't know about you, I know Antonio Brown's very happy, but the Miami Dolphins are an absolute disgrace right now. They are brutal.
And we will get Coach's thoughts in just a moment after we hear Evan Washburn and his conversation after the game with Devin McCourty.
Well, Devin, shutouts are rare in this league, and then you factor in what you guys did last week against Pittsburgh. What type of momentum is this defense playing with right now?
We're just doing a good job of executing our game plan right now. Like I said, we got a lot of experience out there on defense. We're just trying to play to it each week, and you make some plays, you get going. Offense did a good job just complimenting each other, so we just got to keep it rolling. Next week will be another divisional test.
I know it's not your side of the ball, but you've been around this team for a while. A lot of attention this week on the addition of Antonio Brown, and then he comes out there and is able to make an impact pretty quickly. What was it like from your perspective to see what he was able to do this week and then what he was able to do on this field today?
It was good, man. I think the thing here is we focus on winning, and that's the goal each week. That's what we focus on throughout the whole week. You know, everyone's talking about everything other than the Dolphins. We just locked in on the Dolphins and got ready to play for today.
We've been around you guys a lot early in the season, and it's often, oh, New England's got to figure this thing out. It was pretty dominant in the first 2 weeks. How much better can this team get?
A lot better. I mean, it's all about consistency. It's not about doing it 1 week or 2 weeks. We got to keep going to the drawing board each week starting Wednesday, getting ready to go, preparing. Bill calls it filling up the gas tank, and we got to just keep doing that until it becomes second nature to us.
Devin, congrats on the win. See you on the road.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Boy, does Devin McCourty really speak about the culture that is in New England? Because you're talking about a singular focused football team. I remember texting with Bill this week, and he said the last thing he said is, you know, we lost 5 of our last 6 games down in Miami.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but the rest of the team, they really represent that. And they exude that. And it'll be interesting to see how AB, as he talked about AB, and winning does do a great job of masking a lot of different things right now. And if he can buy in, it might be a very good fit for him. But Phil, I'll go back with you. You said in the pregame, their secondary really is a big strength of this football team. There's no communication errors as there have been in years past. Remember last year against Kansas City. But, you know, this is a football team that's very, very solid in their secondary.
You know, I text Belichick this week. He didn't answer me. So I feel a little bad about that. But, you know, it was really the proper thing to do to have Devin McCourty up there because he is the leader of that defense, and that defensive secondary is tremendous. It's one of the best up there with Buffalo's, maybe the NFL. But look what they did today. The 4 turnovers, 184 total yards. I mean, that's incredible. 2 of 15 for the Miami Dolphins on 3rd down. So they're just their offense is never under pressure because they know their defense is going to do the job now.
Our wide receiver had his eyes on their new wide receiver.
No doubt about it. Antonio Brown, he made his debut. And let's break it down because he had some plays that will have you excited if you're a fan of New England Patriots. Here he is over the middle, finding that soft spot in the zone, right on the money. And then this inside fade. How about the back shoulder ball from Tom Brady? But then there's some miscommunication. You see him and Tom Brady still need to get on the same page on certain things. And here he is right here going up top. Tom throwing it behind him. But I think once they get to know each other, those things will start to fix themselves. As Antonio Brown opens up a new chapter in his life, you can still see that him and Tom Brady need to be on the same page.
Just know this. This offense is not going to be heavy for one guy or the other guy. This is going to be distribution all over the offense. And take a look at this graphic right here, and you can see Tom Brady hit 7 different receivers. There's not a lot of catches amongst those receivers. It's all kind of like a shared burden.
Right.
And I do think that there's something to be said about what Nate just pointed out. There were some mistakes and some miscommunication. You know, this is not the Pro Bowl. This is real NFL games, even though the Miami Dolphins now have given up 102 yards. I mean, 102 points in their first 2 games. They're a terrible football team. We know that. But still, it's going to be about being a part of a precise offense.
Tom Brady's got to adjust to Antonio Brown a little bit. He's not used to having guys run by him so quick in the end zone.
Yeah.
They are a back shoulder throwing football team with their tight ends and wide receivers. Antonio can get on top of the defense, and Tom Brady really misread the throw on that throw to Tua.
It's going to be a litmus test next week, guys, because, you know, there's only one team in this division that really's got a chance. We've watched them go against the Giants today, and that's going to be the Buffalo Bills. Now, they play the New England Patriots next week, you know. And if
you think they got a chance, Coach?
You know what? I would just say this about the Buffalo Bills. They have an athletic quarterback. They got a very, very good defense, and that quarterback is getting more and more confident. And I think, you know, we always said before, they've matched up well against them in the past. So, you know, there's going to be definitely a focus. It's going to be on just this one team.
So let me start with the coach and then get the players on this. So if you're in Miami's shoes, it's going to be a long season. What's important in terms of recognizing the road ahead?
Well, I mean, number one, I don't know what the situation as a quarterback, and I said this before it even started. Brian Flores was put in a situation, he was doomed to fail from the beginning. When you think about what they've traded away, they had a left tackle that they're talking about. It was the 13th pick in the draft, and he's a left tackle that could be there for 10 years. Minka Fitzpatrick, 3 years ago, was a number one, a top 20 pick. And they're talking about wanting to trade him. What message are you sending in that locker room about what your commitment is to this season? If I'm a player in the Miami Dolphins, am I supposed to commit myself to you if you're sitting there looking at the future? What am I about right now? And for Brian Flores, that's a hard thing to sell in that locker room. And somehow he's got to get that message through to them.
And as a player, Nate?
Oh, well, listen, man, it's tough. When I heard about the rumors of guys wanting to be traded, I mean, there's a certain sense of professionalism that you need to have in this business. And I get it. You might be in your feelings, and you might want to go to your agent, go to your coach, and say you want to be on a better team. But this is a test of your character. I joined the Detroit Lions 2 years after they went 0-16. And there wasn't a moment that I wavered. There wasn't a moment that I called my coach or called my agent and said, ship me out of here. Because you might go into another situation where it's just as bad. So this isn't about football. How about you stick it out, show what you're worth, show up every day, and try to prove you can play on a team that isn't as good as everybody else.
You know what? I was in a situation just like this twice. One was 1992 at Cincinnati. There was 1995 with the New York Jets. Friday night, I was hanging out with my old teammate, Wayne Corbett, and we were reminiscing about his rookie year, and that was my last year in New York, and we were a disaster. But you know what? Out of that came a lot of really good young football players who went on to have very good careers. I just tried to get them to focus in on their goals simply about each and every game, and then kind of looking long term about what they wanted to accomplish for the season. We went 3-13 that year. It was not a great year, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a long year down in Miami. Those players are embarrassed by that performance, and they know, because I think what Coach just said, Brian Flores basically was, handed this team, and they started trading away everybody, and they have a turnover machine at quarterback, and he's going to cost them games, and they're just not a team that's in sync right now.
You were only in a situation twice?
Twice that I can remember.
Yeah, that's right. Remember. Well, I think we all were in one of those situations, and I think in today's league, it's meant to do what? We're supposed to have parity. So all the bad decisions by Miami's front office is really coming to home to get them. So they're tearing it down completely. And I think we've noticed, like this offseason, more movement than ever in the NFL with players, more free agents. So you can build the team back up, I think, faster now than ever before. And you just got to hang in there and take it to show.
The other thing I would just say, just to say this, and I agree, we've all been in these situations before, but times are different right now. Now, I've sat there before, don't talk about it because it'll take on a life of its own. It'll just die. Nothing dies today in this transparent world we're in. That's social media.
Meaning, okay,
you need to stay ahead of this. Brian Flores needs to come out and talk about what the perception is of people, because you know what? Right. You have to take control of the narrative, or it's going to take control of you if you don't address it. And right now, if I'm him, I'm finding a way, challenging everyone with them. I know we've done these first 2 weeks. It's not good enough. And you know what? We're going to move forward with the people who are ready to be committed to this. And I don't care how many of those there are. That's what I would do. I would take control of the narrative. Don't let the narrative take control of you.
Bill, there's so many guys on that team that, there's a few that they know they're going to be in the league. But most of those players are fighting for their jobs and their livelihood. They know that. So there's going to be a few that want out. But the guys that are, not the stars, they know they got to go out there and work hard and perform every.
Let me wrap real quickly with Nate. And you talk about thinking about the bigger picture. But Nate, we know the football is a hurt game. Can you really block that out as well, too? Because it's a serious sport, football, more so than many other sports.
Yeah, well, Coach just talked about it, man. It's a transparent world, so let's just call it what it is. This new generation of athletes are very sensitive, and they're listening to everything.
Yes.
Back in the day, you could tell your players, put the blinders on, put the earmuffs on, and focus on the goal ahead. Nowadays, everybody got their hands in their phones and their heads in their phones, and they're worried about everybody else's opinion. If Coach Flores comes out and talks to his players and says, this is the narrative, this is what we're doing, and this is the plan, and this is the reason why we're making these moves. Now, who's in or who's out? That way you're very clear about who the real team is moving forward.
Yeah, I think they also got off to two tough, a tough start with 2 tough games. One against Baltimore kind of surprised them a little bit, and then, of course, Tom Brady and the Patriots. But for me, we could say all of this stuff we want to say. The reality is that Minka Fitzpatrick, one of their best players, wants out of there. Yeah. The entire team knows that he wants out of there. It's out there in social media. he basically has quit on the team, essentially, and they all know it. So it's only going to, I don't necessarily know if it can get any worse than it already is, but it's certainly not going to get much better, I can tell you that.
Wow, a lot of character.
I think they're going to win 3 games this year. Yeah.
That's high.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Hey, they were in there. It was not a blowout right from the start with the Patriots. The Patriots had to work pretty hard there, but once it starts going the wrong way, that's when you get trouble with these type of teams. Yes, I think they'll win 3.
We'll see how it all plays out. Long season ahead. All right, folks, there is a lot more to come here on the State Farm postgame show. Guys giving their absolute insight from their experiences and more when we continue from here in Studio 43. Hey, folks, we invite you to join us on Saturday for a big college football doubleheader. First, it'll be Auburn taking on Texas A&M. Later, Notre Dame and Georgia go toe-to-toe in prime time. It all begins with the drive to Atlanta at 2:30 Eastern. That'll be followed by College Football Today right here on CBS as we welcome you back to the State Farm postgame show, and we take you back to the highlights.
All right, here we go. The Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants. Josh Allen tosses it to Isaiah McKenzie. He goes 14 yards for a touchdown. That put Buffalo up 21-7. Then, to ice the game, the old man, Frank Gore, up the middle for a 1-yard touchdown. The Buffalo Bills win 28-14. Josh Allen, really good day. Moved around, made some big plays. After the first drive, Saquon Barkley had a lot of yards in that. The Buffalo Bills defense really stopped the run after that.
You know what, and I'm going back to what our coach had to say in terms of what he likes about what you're seeing in the early part of this season from Buffalo.
Yeah, I think we look at Josh Allen. I mean, I love the fact that the running game, Devin Singletary, I just hope that his injury, it looked like a hamstring he got late in that game, doesn't hinder his participation, because they just have a lot of things working for them. And I just see Josh Allen in these first 2 games just taking tremendous strides, just in confidence. You know, you see him last year and doing some of the things, but this year, he looks patient in the pocket. He's throwing the ball to open receivers. He's anticipating throws. He's picking and choosing when he runs with the football. I just think that this is a guy that just gives you a very athletic, young, confident quarterback in offense. Came back from 16 down a week ago. And wow, another win here against the Giants, and they're playing New England next week.
And statistically embellishing your point about Josh Allen, 19 of 30, 253 yards and a touchdown. And after the game, it was our Melanie Collins catching up with Josh Allen.
Josh, congratulations on the win. You told us that last week in this stadium, it was all about weathering the storm. But today, it felt like this team was executing through all 3 phases. 8 different receivers caught passes. Where did you feel the biggest improvement?
You know, we just kind of stuck to our rules. We want to take care of the football. We did a good job of that today. Still a couple times put the ball in harm's way. A few things to clean up and learn from in this one. But, you know, it was a total team win. Our defense came out, played fantastic again. You know, that's a good team we just played. So I'm really proud of our guys, how we came out and executed. Got a little sloppy there in the 3rd quarter. We'll clean it up and we'll learn from it. We'll grow.
2-0 to start the season. The first team to win back-to-back games at MetLife since the 2006 Chicago Bears. How much did that familiarity play into the way this team came out today?
Well, I think it helped out a lot. And I think if you look around the stadium right now, there's a lot of Bills fans in here. They were very loud. You know, they gave us some energy. I really appreciate them making the travel out here. So we're going to take this one back. We'll enjoy this one tonight and turn our focus to Cincinnati after this game.
You just exchanged jerseys over there with Saquon Barkley. What was that exchange like between the 2 of you?
It was awesome. It's something we talked about earlier in the offseason. Obviously, being in the same draft class, that's a heck of a player right there. He's, you know, the best running back in the game. So to be able to do that and, you know, share an experience like that with him, coming in the same draft class, I got a lot of respect for him and what he does, and I really appreciate how he plays the game.
Finally heading home next week to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Where do you feel this team needs to shore things up a bit before next week?
Again, I mean, third quarter there, got a little sloppy. Just making sure that we're executing, taking care of the football. I got to, you know, do better. I missed a couple throws today, so learn from those, get back and get some time in with our receivers. But our guys played fantastic tonight. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Josh, congrats. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. You have a good one.
Phil, you're back up again with some more highlights.
Let's go. Let's do some highlights. Let's talk about what happened down in Washington today. The Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Redskins. Dak Prescott hooks up with Amari Cooper. No, that's Jason Witten in the flat. And here we go. Good play fake. Zeke Elliott up the middle for the touchdown. And that put Dallas up 31-14. The final score 31-21. Look at the numbers of Dak Prescott, 26 of 30. That is really, once again, a really great job. And Ezekiel Elliott, their offense, over 100 yards, their offense is rolling.
Every time I see Dak Prescott put up numbers like this, what am I thinking?
Money.
Cha-ching!
Cha-ching, baby.
Cha-ching! Well, I'm wearing green today, baby. It's all about the Benjamins, as they say.
That's right.
You know all about that. You know, the one time that you wanted my jersey when we played against each other, I wouldn't give it to you. You remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, well, I remember that.
I never wanted your jersey.
But the thing about where the Cowboys are right now is where everybody thought they were going to be after 2 games, specifically because they were playing against the Redskins and the Giants, 2 of the bottom, in the bottom third of the league. They took care of business now.
Yeah.
Their schedule will get a little bit tougher here, but they're off to a good start, much like the Buffalo Bills are off to a good start. And for another team like the New York Giants, the big question is, what do they do? Where are they going? I think they played a little bit better today than they did last week, but still a very little of a pass rush.
So what will be the conversation on radio tomorrow when you talk about the Giants?
It's going to be about Pat Shurmur, the coach. It's going to be about Eli Manning, the quarterback. You know, if you're a Giant fan, you love Eli, you have nothing but respect for him, and you appreciate everything he's done for you. But then on the other side of things, you watch Josh Allen, a young quarterback running all over the place. His coach was talking about at halftime. He's an athletic, playmaking quarterback. He ran the ball 7 times today. He scored a touchdown on the ground this week, much like he did last week, Josh Allen, that is. So you have a young kid. I'm not so sure that Daniel Jones is totally ready yet.
Right.
But I know one thing, he will be an active, athletic quarterback when he finally does get a chance to play.
So if you feel that he's not ready right now, then the coaching staff should not react to that, correct?
But I mean, you're right, but sooner or later, like, he was drafted number 6 overall. And, usually when you're drafted that high, you're playing right out the gate. But I understand they have this loyalty to Eli, and I get all of that.
Nate, go ahead.
Listen, I know that every rookie shouldn't be thrown out into the flames. But if you look at last season, Baker Mayfield comes in a few games in, he was phenomenal. You look at Lamar Jackson, he comes in halfway through the season, they sit down Joe Flacco,
Phenomenal.
he was phenomenal.
Yes.
Even the previous year, Deshaun Watson comes in one half after Tom Savage doesn't play, and he was great in his rookie season. I feel like if you have a guy that goes top 10, number 6 overall to the Giants, you throw him out there as soon as possible. You let him get his lumps early, and then from there, you move on. I get it. Sometimes you say, we want to protect these guys' confidence, but I would bet that they get him in sooner than later, Coach.
Well, I think Phil, you alluded to this earlier, and I think, making the change at halftime. I know when we made the change to Ben, it was out of necessity. It was because of an injury, and so we had a very limited package that we had with him. I do believe at some point you will have to make that decision, and giving him a full week's of work in terms of preparation is a big part of allowing him to at least give the best chance to have success early.
You know what's amazing to me, though? Like, Gardner Minshew II is playing. He's a rookie who was drafted in the 6th round.
6th round.
Right. He's playing.
And he played well in it.
And he played well, and he gave him a chance.
You know what, and I hear you guys, but let me go back to Coach, but don't you make the decision based on the talent that you have and whether or not you think he's in position to be prepared for that?
Yeah, and they will have a best feel for that. But Gardner Minshew also went in there because of an injury. Once again, an injury dictated that decision. So in this situation, again, I would just say, and looking at it, if you're going to go and make this and go to Daniel Jones, you do have an athletic quarterback. You also got to cater an offense that caters to him as well. Get him out, get him moving, do certain things. And having a full week of preparation would be the best way to introduce him to the National Football.
Well, a couple things. Young quarterbacks are ready to play more than ever in this league because offenses are more diverse. And when you look at Daniel Jones, that offense is ready for him right now. That running game, Saquon Barkley, the offensive line is protecting, and Pat Shurmur, what we saw him do so well with Case Keenum up in Minnesota, that's the offense he's going to run once Daniel Jones gets in there. He's going to have plays where there's nothing there. He's going to run, which they're going to want. So, Bill, I think this transition to Daniel Jones on the offensive side is going to be pretty easy.
It's amazing how they went from booing him when he was drafted to all of a sudden New York fans, Daniel Jones, and now all of a sudden
his name. Now they're calling his name.
Oh, my goodness.
I know that.
Hey, and guess what's calling us right now? It is a commercial break. The State Farm postgame show will continue after this. Hey, folks, we'll be back with more football next Sunday. Doubleheader action in Week 3, highlighted by Patrick Mahomes, Boom's son, and the Chiefs in their home opener against the Ravens. That'll be followed by the Saints at the Seahawks in our featured matchup. And it all begins with the NFL Today, noon Eastern, right here on CBS, as we welcome you back to Studio 43 in the State Farm postgame show. And we go to Boomer this time.
That's right. Okay, the Colts at the Titans. How about Jacoby Brissett late in the game here? He's going to find T.Y. Hilton. They're going to take a lead. Adam Vinatieri's going to miss another extra point. He was 1 of 3 today in this situation. It could have cost them because with 15 seconds left to go, it's 4th and 2. Marcus Mariota's trying to hit A.J. Brown for a first down. Get up there, clock it, and kick a game-winning field goal. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen for the Titans, but for the Colts, they bounce back with a big win within the division, 19-17, and Jacoby Brissett has another solid game for Frank Reich and the Indianapolis Colts.
And he may well have talked about that as he talked after the game with our announcers, Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta.
Jacoby, what a frantic finish to this game. 3 touchdown passes for you. You guys had a tough finish last week in L.A. You get this win, divisional win. Talk about it and those last couple of minutes.
Oh, man, the ultimate team win right here. You know, I didn't come out and play my best, but, you know, the players stayed in it. You know, we played well on defense. Special teams did well. You know, we finished it in the end of the game. That's what we said we wanted to do, you know, coming off last week where, you know, we wish we had that one more drive, and this week we got it.
Jacoby, I've got to ask you, what are you thinking when Coach sends in the offense on that last 4th down when you guys are backed up in your own territory?
Go win the game. I know he had trust in me that I was going to make the right decision. You know, we practiced those plays. We talked about those plays. And we did a great job up front.
Jacoby, nothing ever seems to come easy for you guys. You think about the weeks that you guys have had over the last couple of weeks. Last week, the overtime loss. What can this win do for your confidence as now you guys look ahead to Week 3?
It showed that we can finish. You know, we obviously didn't want to give them back the ball in the 4-minute mode, but, you know, our defense stepped up and played well. So this gives us confidence that we know we can finish. We can overcome obstacles. You know, my 2 turnovers, you know, we got a good team. So we just got to keep building on this and stacking them.
Jacoby, we appreciate the time. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And another AFC South matchup down in Houston. It was the Texans and the Jacksonville Jags. Right here you see after J.J. Watt fumble recovery, there you see Deshaun Watson using his legs 2 yards for the run. But I'll tell you what, Gardner Minshew, what a game he had, 22 of 33, 213 yards. Here's going to find DJ Shark in the back of the end zone. He also had 56 yards rushing. Doug Marrone goes for 2 to win the game. And it falls short of Leonard Fournette. He falls inches short. And right there, the Houston Texans eke out a 13-12 win over the Jacksonville Jags.
And as I play off of our coach, I always love hearing what a coach, not coach, has to say after the game when they win.
That was what being a team is all about. That's what being a team's all about. We go for it down there on 4th and 1. We execute the play. We make a great play down there. You guys stop the 2-point play to win the game. That's team football. Yes, sir. But we all know that it's early, and we got to do better. We got to do better on offense. We know that, right? We got to fix some things. But when you win, it's a whole lot better.
All right, here's some more highlights for you. The Chargers and the Lions. Matt Stafford, he's going to be looking for his running back. He's packing his carry-on. That's Carry-On Johnson. He takes this after the bobbled catch all the way to the end zone for a 36-yard TD. It was 7-6 at that point after missing the PAT. But here we go. Matt Stafford. Who is he looking for? I think this is his new #1 target. Kenny Golladay. That is a 31-yard touchdown right there. Stafford feeling it. Golladay, 8 catches, 117 yards, 1 TD. The Lions win a close one, 13-10. All right, let's go to the NFC North matchup. Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers dropping back. And who is he looking for? He goes up top to Geronimo Allison. He catches a touchdown. Kirk Cousins, he's going to bounce back. He's looking for his star wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. Check out this catch right here. In traffic, he takes off his helmet. They would get a penalty. Kirk Cousins, he needs to make a play in a big moment. And a critical turnover as Kirk Cousins faded away the ball and King comes up with the interception. Yep. It happens again. The Green Bay Packers, they win this one 21-16. Looks like Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur in that offense are working out.
So the Packers improve to 2-0. Minnesota drops to 1-1. Mindful of what Coach says. Great play by Stephon Diggs, but think team. We continue with the State Farm postgame show after this. So the Patriots, with the win today, have outscored their opponents 76-3. They delivered the worst shutout loss to the Miami Dolphins in their history. Afterwards, it was what we will call a jubilant Patriots locker room.
Game at a time. Long way to go. Got another division game this week, so we emptied the tank down here tonight. Looks like we're in decent condition. All right, looks like we're in decent condition. We're going to need to be able to play 60 minutes, all year long. So let's keep grinding away on that.
How do we feel about moving to 2-0?
Let's go. The Arizona Cardinals, Baltimore Ravens. My guy Lamar Jackson went full Carl Weathers. I'm talking about action Jackson.
Carl Weathers.
Mark Andrews for the TD. That's a 27-yard touchdown right there. The score 7-0 at this point. And he wasn't done, y'all. How about this little play fake right here? He rolls out. Easy touchdown right there. Hayden Hurst. Lamar Jackson in this win. 24 for 37, 272, and 2 TDs. The big number, though, my man rushed for 122 yards.
Wow.
Wow. How about in Pittsburgh? Ben Roethlisberger left the game in the first half with an elbow injury. You can see right here grabbing it. He did not come back the rest of the game, replaced by Mason Rudolph. And Mason Rudolph came in. He was 12 of 19, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. That one there to Vance McDonald. But Russell Wilson, big play right here. You're going to see the DK Metcalf. He was 29-35 for 300 yards on the day, 3 touchdowns. They won 28-26. Also hurt in this game was James Conner. Look for those injuries in the next couple days.
Not good. The 49ers ran up 572 yards in Cincinnati's, fellas. Jimmy Garoppolo, 17-25, 297 yards, 3 touchdowns. This right here is a 39-yard screen pass. That is Raheem Mostert. And then, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to complete the 2-yard pass to Deebo Samuel for his first career NFL TD. And this is a totally different team. It looks completely different than it did last year, the 49ers, and mainly because of their defense and, of course, a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. As we welcome in Jason Lockett.
Yeah, one note out of that game, too. Yes. Starting left tackle Joe Staley's got a fracture. He's going to miss at least, they're saying, 8 weeks. So they're obviously going to have the next man up situation there. And, we referenced earlier in the show, you guys were talking about Adam Vinatieri. He made some comments that it's pretty easy to read into. He's at least considering retiring. You can see the quote here he gave Stephen Holder from The Athletic. Usually we know players aren't going to be talking on a Monday. If he's talking about coming in and meeting the media on a Monday when no other players around, the expectation would be that he may be, barring a change of heart, hanging it up. He's had difficulty with extra points. And look, he's been so good for so long, a future Hall of Famer. He would probably know before anyone else, guys, right, when Father Time is winning and probably going to keep on winning.
It's amazing. It just goes to show you in the NFL, you think you got something handled. You show up, you go to work, and you think, okay, this part of my team is handled. It's all good. And then all of a sudden, a Hall of Famer, who I think is a Hall of Famer, Vinatieri, ends up just not getting off to a good start this year. Maybe he's had enough. We'll see.
So the injury to Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, they're going to further testing to determine the exact severity. Mike Tomlin wouldn't really go there after the game. But a lot of positive buzz about what Mason Rudolph does. And one thing to note, 6 quarters of Ben so far this season, throwing to his wide receivers, 20 of 40, 204 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, QB rating of 54.6.
Any word on James Conner? Because he left this game hurt.
Same situation. We'll know more after an MRI, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. All right, so there you have it from our NFL insider. That will be Jason Locken for the post-game show, the State Farm post-game show. We'll continue right after this.
This is the State Farm post-game show.
And welcome back to the State Farm post-game show. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the story behind an American artist's masterpieces. That'll be followed by a new edition of Big Brother, plus NCIS Los Angeles and NCIS New Orleans. That's tonight only on CBS. And we bring you an update here with the Saints trailing the Rams 3-0. But the story here so far, starting quarterback Drew Brees on the sidelines, You can see there on his throwing hand, he injures that thumb. He's got it wrapped on the sidelines, and Boomer, Teddy Bridgewater steps in his place.
Well, this is why you have Teddy Bridgewater, right? So Teddy Bridgewater had opportunities to go elsewhere. He decided to sign his extension with the New Orleans Saints and stay there. And this is why you keep him. And, you just hope that Drew didn't break anything. Maybe it's just a stretched tendon or something in his thumb. I don't know about you, Phil. I've done it a few times, and sometimes it wears off a little bit later on in the game, and you can go back in there. He's dressed. He's standing on the sideline. He has his thumb wrapped. The question is just whether or not he can throw the football and control it off of his
And we'll
hand.
keep folks updated on that. So thoughts on the early slate of games so far?
Well, listen, you got to respect what Tom Brady and Antonio Brown did right out the gate. They can't help who they play against. They caught the Steelers off guard, punched them in the mouth, and then, of course, catching Miami, which crazy things seem to happen. But Antonio Brown fitting in seamlessly right now, even with all that drama, it seems like the Patriots just got better.
I sit there and look at the Pittsburgh Steelers starting off 0-2, and, you're concerned with Ben Roethlisberger, what his status, James Conner, and guess where they got to go next week? They go to San Francisco, who just opened up the season winning 2 games on the road and look as hot as any team in the National Football League. So it's going to be a really big, important week.
I got to look at the Indianapolis Colts. They ran the ball well last week. This week, 167 yards rushing. Darius Leonard, what'd he say? Our defense stunk? Well, they did today. They held Tennessee to 242 yards total. They played great on defense, ran the football. Pretty good formula, right? I know somebody like that formula.
Storylines developing in the early part of the NFL season. We'll see you again next week right here on CBS.
You can win now.